Welcome to a special edition of Dads and Daughters, Season 2, Episode 6 with my girls Kelly and Jenna, Lovina Babushka. We also got Miss Gizzy over here. Oh, the shirt is over her head. I'm sorry, Gizzy. But Gizzy's wearing a special shirt in honor of my brother, my high school football teammate, best buddy for 35 plus years, Mark Ettrick. We celebrated his birthday, his 50th, this past Friday by Zoom. And Ettrick, I'll see you in Vegas real soon. And we love you. And Gizzy's wearing his shirt. It says Team Metric, but Gizzy's not cooperating. But it does say it on there somewhere. But Gizzy's having a rough night tonight. So, but I also want to also cut the sleeves off as well for me. But you know that story. But I want to show off the incredible story first before we get into our cool episode we had focused on Tourette syndrome. But want to show off the incredible story on Kelly that aired last month or this month. Actually, we're still in February, all over Spectrum News, on Kelly's anti-bullying and KAHL, Kindness, Acceptance, Humility, Love project that she's been working on. And just want to cue that video up for everybody. Let's take a look.
Shortly after the COVID-19 pandemic started, I noticed a lot of fear and division. And I thought maybe I could, being a part of a generation that really speaks out and uses their voice for change, I wanted to write my own personal experiences with kindness and things that rule out fear or can exist to make people less fearful and less divisive. Being a high school student, I've witnessed a lot of kids say stupid things and be racist towards each other. And while I can't pinpoint an exact moment where I witnessed it, I've seen kids use stupid terms and just not be nice to each other, and I think that adds to, again, when I talk about the fear and divisiveness. It's really sad that in this day and age, things like that still occur where people feel profiled or divided based on their race. I think we all need to come together as one and have unity and really love each other, not based on our differences, but instead celebrate our differences and understand that our differences aren't something to be feared. Part of my generation, I've noticed, is that while some may dismiss our generation because we're young, maybe unknowledgeable, I've noticed my generation really speaks out, and given that we are the next generation of adults in this world, I think we really have a good future. And a lot of people in my generation, they use their voice and they speak up for what matters most, and they're very united with each other instead of divided, something I would.
So Kelly, what do you think of all the positive attention you've been getting from this feature on the Spectrum News channel? What do you think?
Good.
She's happy about it. Well, we also have a follow-up news story coming up as well that's going to go into some more detail. But also Kelly received a very cool video. I got a text message from Danica McKellar. She was on the show The Wonder Years. She's on a lot of Hallmark movies. And through my friend Dan Loria, who was her co-star in The Wonder Years, Danica seen the episode, the last episode we did, Super Bowl edition. By the way, 5,000 views. So thanks for all the support that everybody has shown for our Live from Tampa edition, which is really cool. But Danica was really touched by the segment, the news story that we just showed on Kelly, and wanted to send her a cool message that I got texted. I was blown away by it. So let's take a look.
Hi, Kelly Dempsey. This is Danica McKellar. How are you? Yeah, I think I've met your dad a couple times. So I heard that you are an 18-year-old high school senior already. Oh my goodness. And that you advocate for anti-bullying and special needs inclusion on a podcast with your dad. That is so awesome. You know, Kelly, one of the things in life, probably the thing in life that brings us the most fulfillment is having a purpose and living our purpose. And how do you know what that purpose is? It's what your special gifts are that you have, maybe nobody else has. You have a very specific set of gifts, something that you love doing, that you're good at, that can help the world. And you are already living in your purpose. And through your life, Kelly, you will probably find more than one of those things. Keep asking yourself those questions. What am I good at that I like doing that can help the world? You do those things, you will lead a full, happy life. That a lot of people search their whole lives looking for that feeling of fulfillment and satisfaction, but you're already starting to do it, and I think that is wonderful. Keep asking those questions. You got this. You have some very positive messages that you're putting into the world that the world needs to hear, and you are healing the world. You're healing the world with your podcast and just by being you and spreading the message in all the ways that you do. I'm incredibly proud of you. Thank you so much to your dad for sharing this message with me. So thank you so much for that support, Mike. And Kelly, again, I am so proud of you and I'm expecting big things. Keep living out your purpose. Sending you much love. Mwah.
Wow, Winnie Cooper, that kiss was for me. I'm sorry, Kelly. No, I'm just kidding. But Winnie Cooper, 1 year is great. Great message. What do you think, Kelly, of that? That text? Pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Jenna?
Yes.
Yes. Jenna says yes, of course. So I want to make one final shout out to our good friend Johnny Damon, who helped us on the Future News article that will air in a couple of weeks. And just to say, we love the Damon family and hope to see them in a few weeks. So poolside, or we're supposed to be swimming with the Dolphins with them in a few weeks in Key Largo, Ocean Reef Resort. Looking forward to that. And we are totally Team Damon. Love them. What do you say, Kelly, about your buddy Johnny? Awesome dude, right?
Yeah.
It's like family to us, and we love you, Johnny, Michelle. And let's cue in a video that Johnny did to support our next article or segment on Kelly, which will be on Spectrum News.
Got you pulled into all this?
What got me pulled into it? I love Kelly. I love Mike. They're great people. They do fantastic work for their community, for people, and that's what we need in our world is super nice people who are willing to make sure everybody is good. And I'm sorry I keep looking over to the right, but my dogs are chasing a squirrel right now.
Oh, man.
I think that squirrel got away.
No, that's great. That's all I needed. But hey, thank you for your time and thank you for jumping on this FaceTime with us all of a sudden. That's awesome. That's also a testament to
Kelly,
Mike too.
Well, Kelly, man, I mean, he's like family to us, Johnny, and we love you. And we'll see him in 2 weeks. I haven't seen him.
We have to do it and don't be upset if things don't work out. But bring your A game always. Mike, I love you.
What does it mean if you have a guy like Johnny Damon on your team?
That our reach is really big and that we are impacting a lot of people across not only North Carolina but the whole nation, the whole country.
Well, we're Team Damon, and Johnny's got this new cool drink called A Game. Great drink, helping me hydrate for my boxing match with Jerry Cooney. We'll talk about boxing in a minute with our next guest, and looking forward to seeing him and love the Damon family. So, all right, well, we want to take this moment to introduce to the show two friends of mine. One I met in Tampa Super Bowl week a few weeks back, Jatin Nayyar, and my other friend, Scott Glaser, who I've known for about 10 years through adult league baseball and various stuff over the years. They were going to talk about the struggles and challenges with Tourette syndrome and how they've overcome the stigmas that come with Tourette's to be successful in their careers and in life. And obviously, Jatin is a freshman at George Washington University from New Jersey. So he's kind of a New Yorker, and I'm kidding, because New York, New Jersey, we're bonded by that. But he has he majors in business with the concentration in sports management. So we hope to get him involved in a lot of cool sports networking like he did in Tampa a few weeks ago. He's part of the boxing team, so he's going to show me how to knock out Jerry Cooney, just kidding, in June. There he is. And he's also part of the George Washington Sports Business Association. He's the mental health coordinator for the Polly Rose organization. And he's a youth advocate for the Great New Jersey Center for Tourette Syndrome. And with this organization, he's spoken to 2 universities, 3 colleges, 4 schools, and 2 hospitals. And he's received 6 proclamations from state senators and for his various contributions, such as raising the most money for research 4 years in a row. And he's made June 3rd Tourette's Day in New Jersey and from his own town. So, but he's not satisfied with that. He wants to do more. And he created this organization called Just a Label. And that's an organization that promotes mental health awareness, as well as disabilities and awareness and rights, like Kelly promotes. And Jatin's mission is to normalize disabilities and end the stigmas that come with it, so people feel more comfortable about themselves. And he's been through it all and wants to be the voice for those who cannot. And Scott, who I first met in that adult baseball league down here in Wake Forest over 10 years ago, he's got a successful sports management and travel and career despite the obstacles and challenges, obviously, that comes with Tourette's. And he's a great dad to an autistic son as well, and big Patriots and Red Sox fan. I got to tell you, this guy breathes. He's from New England and just loves the team. And you never know, you may convert me to Red Sox fan after the events of the last weekend. So I don't know. The Yankees have been a little bit. We'll get into that another time. But big Red Sox fan. We're going to welcome them on the show, and I think they're live backstage. And let's see if they pop on. There we go. Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
How are you guys?
Good. Looking good. And Scott, good to see you. I haven't seen you in person. Scott moved from Raleigh to Wilmington. Big golf as well. He's going to teach me how to play the game of golf when my baseball and boxing career end this year. Let's just hope it doesn't end with a nap in the ring like Jerry Cooney has promised me. Well, let's just hope it doesn't happen, right, girls?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in Atlanta when my Patriots beat the Rams the next afternoon.
That was the last time we saw each other. That's absolutely right. And Tom Brady did it again in Tampa, right? And Jatin, you were down there. We were hanging out and with all the NFL alumni and cool people you met. So, I want to talk to you. There's Scott. Big football. We're all football fans here. Goes to the Super Bowl every year. This is the first one I think you missed in many, many years, Scott. But LA next year, we'll have you down there playing some big things. Be great, and you as well as you, Jatin, as well. You're going to have you down there in LA and do some good stuff. So, Jatin, talk about how you were diagnosed with Tourette's at a very young age. You know, as I've shared, one of my best friends growing up has had Tourette's as well. And I know from being his friend, some of the struggles he had. And so talk about some of the things that you've encountered with bullying and all the things that kids do to each other, and just dealing with the negative perceptions. So just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's been about 10 years now since I was diagnosed. So fourth grade I was diagnosed. I was around 8 years old, but I remember the summer before, or the spring at least, I had started getting symptoms, and it was like sniffles. So it was just like rapid sniffles. But I kind of just thought it was, like it was the spring, it was allergies, but it continued on throughout, the rest of the year. And then eventually my parents, they're both physicians, so we started going to, numerous doctors. And then finally I was diagnosed in fourth grade with Tourette syndrome. And it was rough for a while because I had a large vocal tic, very loud, like really hard not to notice. So for at least from like fifth to like sixth and seventh grade, it was hard. So I come from a small private school in New Jersey, 700 people, K-12, so everyone knows who I am. And I have like 3 older sisters who were all grades above me, so everyone knew who I was. So I wouldn't say I experienced bullying, but I did experience the side eyes or like people looking back at me. And like every time I'd pick, I'd always like look back and see, if someone was staring at me. And even today, sometimes that happens too, but this always happens.
Well, Kelly knows that feeling as well. I think anybody with disabilities can certainly relate to that. And I think, that's obviously you're a very brave young man for what you've but talk about your love of sports. I'm very interested, obviously the boxing and the tennis boxing, how that has helped you also through the sports, that you do. And maybe first, let's cue in a video of you with the boxing, because I think you could teach me a few things. That was pretty cool. But in boxing, I got to tell you, right now I may nominate you to be my stunt double in the ring. Jerry, go at it. So we got to get you, get the head moving and everything. That's what stuff I learned. I got, but I still don't have those skills. So talk about the boxing. How did you get into that?
Yeah, so boxing's been my outlet for about 2 years now. About 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with depression after my grandfather passed away. He lost his battle to cancer, and like for a while, I just thought it was grief. I just thought, it was just kept going with the grief, but then it just ended up spiraling, and I had to find outlets. So I asked my mom, I'm like, I just feel like I need to punch like a hole in the wall. It's like my feeling. I'm so angry, and I didn't want to take my anger out of my parents because anyone who knows who's going through depression or mental health is all your emotions boil up, and when they boil up, they go towards the people who are there right next to you. But they realize that it's not towards them. So we eventually got a boxing bag, and I wasn't good at boxing. I just wanted to punch something, so I got some gloves. And like after like the first punch, I was like, "This is what I want to do." Like it just became a passion to me. So from there, I slowly started, like watching tutorials and stuff like that. And then I got a trainer, and then it just went from there, and then it just skyrocketed. So that's basically how I got into boxing. And then for tennis, at least, I've been playing tennis since I was 5. So once I was diagnosed, I decided to amp up my tennis a little bit more because when you're boxing or playing tennis or any outlet that anyone goes through, at least for me, my kicks don't show. They don't because you're so in the zone. You're so focused on a specific goal. So with boxing, with tennis, when I'm in the ring, or when I'm hitting, like let's say I'm serving, like all my power for my service coming from all the burdens and all the trials and tribulations that happen in my life. Every time I'm hitting a heavy bagger, fighting someone, when I look at my opponent, I look at I don't look at the person specifically. I look at everything that's happened in my life, all the hospitalizations I've been through, all the times I was IVs, all that stuff, and I just take it out on my opponent rather than. So I like to fight for a purpose or play for a purpose.
Well, that's cool, and I know Scott can certainly relate with the baseball and golf because I'm friends with Brian Doyle, former New York Yankee World Series legend back in 1978, a long, long time ago. I was a little kid back then. Brian is one of my closest friends as well, and Scott, I know I've met you on the baseball diamond, and you are amazing golf. You're going to teach me how to play the game when my summer after I'm done with boxing. Talk a little bit about your sports and how it's helped you, Scott, because I know that's obviously done a lot. You don't have, I mean, when Brian goes up to the plate, and if you see him in Old Timers Day with the Yankees a couple of years back, he's able to steady his swing. And same thing on the golf course. I mean, he has never had a problem. You never know he had the tics that he's had with Parkinson's. But Scott, talk a little bit about your, what has helped you.
Well, I play keyboards. I compete in dog agility. I play ball with my buddy Mike, and I'm an avid golfer. I played today. Now I'm a little older than Mike. Hey, Mr. DJ.
A little bit.
So I'm a little older than Mike, and in 1975, we had his brother Denny Doyle played second base for us, which really helped solidify that team because that was the one position they didn't have in maybe the best World Series ever. So that I have a little more familiarity with Denny, and then of course Brian had some World Series trophies of his own a little later on in that.
Yeah.
But definitely taking the moments of having to lock into exactly what you're doing on a golf course in particular, other sports I played in high school, playing baseball. It is an amazing thing when someone who has to spend their life focusing on controlling themselves can instead focus on the job at hand, be it guessing curveball or trying to hit a 3/4 wedge and let it spin on the green. And in those moments, to be able to focus on what it is that you're doing, as opposed to the various tick I might have that's going to hurt my neck or do this or that, or maybe be conscious of looking a certain way. It's very fulfilling then to know that we battled through and we pulled it out. And I'm sure Jatin will agree with that very much in the endeavors that he has. And Jim Eisenreich, Mike, this is a player who really, really suffered. He took 2 years off in the prime of his career because of his Tourette's, came back, won the MVP for the Royals on the same team with Brett and Bo Jackson. So I think that rather than looking at what it is from the outside looking in, what people have to deal with and dealing with us, that I think most people kind of find a way of being as old as I am now, what we've been through in our career and dealing with the athletes that we've dealt with, put together some of our sports travel. is people start to appreciate the fact that we came through maybe some different or more or unique difficulty than someone else did, and gain respect, as opposed to us losing confidence in what we think we're doing. I think we're gaining respect in what we're battling through.
Well, Scott, you're a true inspiration. Like for people who don't know, you have your own travel career, later global travel. You do a lot of sports management work. I mean, you have been so accomplished, and that's why I wanted to have you on the show with Jatin, because just to demonstrate how resilient you've been and overcome these challenges. I mean, you didn't look at them as challenges; you just overcame them because you had that drive. And but other celebrities you mentioned besides Jim Eisenreich, I mean, Mozart had this. Howie Mandel has Tourette's. Dan Aykroyd, who also has Asperger's. I mean, incredible Dan Aykroyd with what he's accomplished.
For the
Howard
young
Hughes. Yeah.
Well, what about the young people around us who don't know who they are? I have learned recently that Billie Eilish actually has that.
Yes, Carrie and Iba from that Dancing with the Stars. Tim Howard, the soccer player, you know him, Justin, out of New Jersey. David Beckham, and I want to show this new contestant from American Idol, Annalee, on later tonight, and her incredible story. She's following in the footsteps of James Durbin, who was a prominent American Idol finalist in 2011. And I like to show a little video of her journey as well, and she'll be on 8 o'clock tonight on ABC. So let's take a look at her.
I started developing some facial and motor tics. My parents started to get a little freaked out. Couldn't get my work done. I couldn't go to sleep. I just couldn't control my body at all.
How are you diagnosed, and how does it show up? And
so I was diagnosed when I was 10, and so Tourette's is a mixture of body tics, facial tics, and then vocal tics, like that.
Yeah.
I was little. I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't want to be the kid with something wrong with me. James Durbin was on the TV.
Don't go. Wow.
you go away when you sing.
When I was younger, I was diagnosed with Tourette's, and when I sing, it just all goes away.
So before he was on the show, did you think, oh, I can't do that? It's not for me?
Definitely, like, my confidence was really, hitting a low point. I was only 10 years old, too, so I was kind of like a shining light in the sea of, like, confusion.
Right.
I am really actively involved in the Tourette Association of America.
Ladies and gentlemen, Annalee.
They're actually the reason that I got to meet James, and I was just in shock when I first met him. It was incredible. I hope to prove to people that I am much more than my Tourette's, and I am just as normal and weird as everybody else.
Oh my God! Hey!
What's up?
What's up? I got my golden ticket. I'm just super pumped.
I'm so proud of you, so happy for you. Seeing you as like a kid, and now like, look what you're doing. It's amazing.
I feel like if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't have auditioned.
Now is your chance to, show that next generation what you've been diagnosed with. It's not something that defines you, but it's something that you can defy.
Thanks so much, James.
You got it, Annalee. Have so much fun.
Thanks.
I'm proud of myself. I really.
Incredible story. I mean, when she wins American Idol, we want to have her on the show. So, Jatin, you got to make that happen for us. So, great, inspirational. But talk about the work, Jatin, you do with the New Jersey Center for Tourette Syndrome, and how you've eased into public speaking and a lot of great things, and what your goals are. Because, I mean, you've already mentioned, man, down in Tampa, hanging out with Johnny Damon, man, a lot of guys, and you're just such a natural. So, talk a little bit about your work with New Jersey Center for Tourette's and how that's really helped you get your label organization, which I want to get to in a minute, how that got started.
Yeah, I mean, it all really started in 4th grade when I was diagnosed, because I was truly just like afraid of my voice. I was afraid to talk. And then freshman year of high school started, and my mom introduced me to the New Jersey Center for Tourette's. And then from there, I became a youth advocate, and I was speaking to all these schools. And I remember my first time I spoke, it was to these, it was about 500 kids from grades 3 to 5, 3rd and 5th graders. And after I gave my little spiel, they were asking questions, and this one kid came up, and his name was Caden, and he whispered to me, he's like, can I tell my grade in my school that I have Tourette's? And I was really taken back, because when I was that age, no one was there to guide me. No one was there to talk to me about what Tourette's was. And the fact that I could do that and at just such a small level really made me feel like I could do more. So then from there, I started getting more talks and speaking more. And I spoke in my high school. And this is when my youngest sister was a senior. I was a junior in high school. And I gave my talk. I talked about my story of depression, mental health, and then Tourette's. And afterwards, I'm looking at my right, and I see like my sister crying. I see all my boys crying, like all my girlfriends crying. Everyone's crying, standing ovations. But like what people didn't know was there's two people in the crowd that already had Tourette's syndrome because they came out to me about a year before, and then the year after, about 3 other people did tell me that they had Tourette's, and about like 2 dozen came out to be and started talking about their mental health issues with me. Because most people just think Tourette's is just like a cursing disorder, but in reality, it's definitely 9% of the population. 1 in every 160 people in the country have it. And like from there, I realized I got all the awards that you mentioned, Mike, but I realized like it's just a piece of paper. I can really do more than just that. I can rip it up. It won't mean anything to me. So I decided to make just a label because, I mean, society today tends to brand people, especially with disabilities, from not allowing them to achieve their aspirations in life. So what my goal is to squash the stigmas by any way possible, because just because I have Tourette's doesn't mean I cannot be the GM for a major sports team. Just because anyone on the spectrum or anyone has a disability doesn't mean that they can be a pro basketball player or achieve their dreams. So like my thing is, let's make the disability into your ability, because the vulnerability that people who have disabilities or anything like that go through really is a strength. Because I mean, I've been hospitalized more times than I can count. My depression has gotten me more times than I can count. But my friends even asked me, they're like, if you had a choice, would you want Tourette's? And I was like, yeah, I would still want it, because I wouldn't have that drive, that grit, that determination to become who I am today. Yeah, maybe I might be better at boxing or tennis, but I won't have that great drive, determination to be the person I am. So that's really what my goal is. My goal is to be the voice for those who cannot, and then also make sure that the people I'm speaking to in the future can be the voices for those who cannot. So that's what I want to achieve in life, really.
Well, it's very courageous, and I just say check out Just a Label. I know you have an Instagram page, and you're really growing it, and I know we're going to make this a national-wide organization to help others and not just something local to New Jersey, because, you know, this is something national, international that people suffer with every day. So, but one final, since we're going short on time, is really the toughest question of the whole episode is, Jatin, any advice to the boxing exhibition I have with Jerry Cooney? Because Scott tells me to run in the ring. He says I should run and jump away and run away from Cooney, but give me some real good boxing advice and how to survive 3 rounds with Gentleman Jerry and show him that I can do what you've done.
Yeah, I mean, definitely just start jumping rope every day, get that cardio in. Get that weave rope, start, just like practicing your weaves and ducks, and just make sure you get your defense in, because I mean, offense.
Full body armor. So I'm going to wear full body armor. I got the headgear, the body gear.
Okay.
Everything protect that liver. So I think that's what we need. So let's work on that, Scott. You got to send me something in the mail. So, but guys, this is great. I know we're now to 6:30, but check out American Idol tonight, of course, to follow her story. I think Anna Lee List is an incredible person. So are you, Jatin and Scott, with what you've accomplished, and I want to help.
I'd love to start working with you on what you're doing.
Yeah,
I just
absolutely.
want to add one thing, Mike. No, Jatin will agree with me, but most of us who have Tourette's have some other crossover. He was mentioning depression, whether it be ADHD, OCD. There are things that drive the Tourette's. They don't just necessarily happen because of the way we're wired, or we're just too anxious. Most of us have a lot of crossover to deal with, and the tics and the Tourette's are the manifestation of those aspects. But like Jatin said, for us to be able to work through these to get to a certain point in his life that he's gotten to, or 30-something odd years later where I've gotten to, although I think he's going to get a lot further, to do the things he wants to do, you want to do, to focus on what you're going to focus and focus well on. There's no way this is going to get in your way of being the general manager. Hopefully my Red Sox, but I'll settle for even a National League team. I wish you best of luck. I want to work with you on this. Let's keep in touch.
Yeah, of course.
All right.
It'll be a pleasure.
And although Scott's a Red Sox fan, but I might be one too. You never know where this whole the Yankees, Red Sox. We'll talk about it another time. But great show, everybody, and thanks for joining. And we'll see you all next week. And thanks again.
All right, buddy. Peace.
Right.